scheduled Macedonia council meeting, and I'll wait for Josephine to get back to her seat. And I know that we're a minute over. At this time, I'd ask that you would please call the roll.
Mr. Bilkey.
Here.
Mr. Engel.
Here.
Ms. Hannikin. Here. Mr. Molnar.
Here.
And Ms. Kelly.
Okay, we have full attendance, and at this time I'm going to ask that Jim Sobek, the commander from the VFW Post 6768, step forward, please, and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, and thereafter he's going to lead us in prayer. Would you all please rise?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lord, we are assembled here today to transact business of mutual benefit. Do not let petty jealousies or trivial personalities influence our deliberations. Let us uphold always the obligations of unselfish comradeship and loyalty to our community and its residents. And finally, O God, help us to increase our spiritual unity and our love for all. In reverent humility, we ask these blessings. Amen.
Amen. Commander, thank you very much. Thank you for being here. You're welcome to stay, or I'm assuming you have other business to take care of.
We have a drawing tonight.
Okay, well, thank you so much for being here. Okay, the next item on the agenda is the minutes of our November 12th, 2015 and our December 10th, 2015 meetings.
Mayor, I'd make a motion that we accept the minutes from November 12th, 2015 and December 10th, 2015.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Are there any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion's carried.
Mr. Bilkey, I assume you're going to be abstaining.
I am going to stay. I was going to ask, so.
Okay, good move. Okay, the next item on the agenda is the election of council officers. This is the first meeting of the 2016 year, and we go through this process every year where we pick a council president, council vice president, and representative to the Parks and Recs Commission, finance chair, et cetera, et cetera. So at this time, I'm going to entertain a motion, or I shouldn't say a motion, I'm going to entertain a nomination for council president.
I'd like to nominate Nick Molnar for council president.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Okay, hearing none, we'll close the nominations. All those in favor of Nick Molnar as president of council indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, the motion's carried. Nick is the president of council. The next is the vice president of council. Do we have any nominations?
Mr. Mayor, make a nomination. I'd like to nominate Sylvia for vice president.
Okay, we have a motion to nominate Sylvia Hannikin. Do we have any other motions, or any other nominations, I should say?
Mayor, I would nominate Dave Engel.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to nominate Dave Engel. Okay. Are there any other nominations? Okay, we'll go with the first, since, well, we didn't have a second on Sylvia, so we're going to have to go then with the second nomination, which will be for Dave Engel. All those in favor for Dave Engel as vice president of council indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing none, the motion's carried. Next on the agenda is a council representative of the Parks and Recs Commission. Do we have any nominations?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to nominate Kevin Bilkey.
Okay.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Are there any other nominations?
Mr. Mayor, I'd nominate Sylvia Hannikin.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, so we have two nominations. Are there any other nominations? Okay. We'll have to go through the first vote first, which will be all those in favor of, well, maybe I better have a roll call on this one as opposed to going all in. But first, nomination is Kevin Bilkey for the Parks and Recs Commission. Could we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Bilkey?
Yes.
Mr. Engel?
No.
Ms. Hannigan?
No.
Mr. Mulner?
Yes.
And Ms. Tully?
Yes.
Okay, the motion is carried, and Mr. Bilkey is nominated to the, as the chair of the, or I should say, the appointee to the Parks and Recs.
Do we need to vote on the other one?
The finance chair, yes, we have one more. Apparently,
Well, technically, do
council
you?
has, instead of taking an appointment on this, they have voted this in. This is not a customary practice, but we'll do it this way since it's been done that way in the past, and that is the nominee for the finance chair. Do we have any nominations for the finance chair?
Mayor, I'd nominate Jan Tully.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Are there any other nominations?
I nominate Sylvia Hannigan.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Are there any other nominations? Okay, hearing none, we'll close the nominations, and we'll ask for a roll call as it relates to the first nomination of Jan Tully for finance chair.
Mr. Bilkey?
Yes.
Mr. Engel?
No.
Ms. Hannigan?
No.
Mr. Mulner?
Yes.
Okay, the
And
motion's,
Ms. Tully?
Yes.
sorry, the motion's carried. Mrs. Tully has been nominated the chair of the finance committee. Okay, the next item on the agenda is the announcement of assignments, and I'm going to assume that either one council has to make those through the president of council?
I believe in the work session, we agreed that we would fill the sheet out and give it to the president, which will be me after the meeting, and then I will disseminate out to council, and we'll have that done by next meeting.
Okay.
However, there is one,
Oh, we have to do JET.
you want to talk about? No.
The JET is the appointment by the mayor of confirmation council. And then the cemetery.
Yeah, there is one appointment to the cemetery board. It is a 3-year term. Last year was our year off. This year, we are back on for 3 more years. The person who had represented Macedonia is no longer on council. I have asked to return to it. I've done that committee. I know it doesn't sound exciting, but the cemetery board is actually a very important, vital part because our local cemetery is composed of all our communities, and we work together to ensure that the cemetery is kept well and also has a future. So if hearing no repercussions, I gladly offer my services, especially since there's a meeting next Wednesday on the 20th.
Okay, thank you. Okay, then we'll move on to
You can have it.
public comments at this time. We have a number of people that would like to address council. We'd ask that you would step forward to the mic over here, give us your name and your address if you would when you're called, and we're more than happy to hear from you. The first on the list is Vinnie Ventura. Vinnie?
Good evening. Vinnie Ventura, 1479 Bruce Road. Been a resident for 28 years. First of all, I would like to thank the mayor and the service department under the direction of John Notavanch for sticking to their word and having Sioux and Ledge Road open before the holidays. I thank them very much for that. It made my life a lot easier. Second of all, if you were not aware of it, the county was trying to take over the mobile 911 system and spread it out to other areas and not keep it in-house. It would not be good for the city of Macedonia. So at this time, I would like to take this opportunity to thank and commend Police Chief John Golden on taking the lead to keeping our mobile 911 system in-house. As a 42 veteran of law enforcement, all of which has been in Cuyahoga County, which does have a central mobile 911 call center, most people would not understand the frustration of police and fire personnel in getting good information and location of citizens that are in need of help and assistance. In today's times, more people are without landlines, or better known as home phones, and are depending on cell phone use. Macedonia residents need direct access to our emergency services, and thanks to Chief Golden and others he may have worked with, we will continue to have that. Again, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Vinnie. Okay, next we have Tony McLaughlin.
I'd like to congratulate you, Mayor.
Thank you.
I live at 1587 Bruce Road, Macedonia, Ohio. Tom McLaughlin, been a resident of 43 years. I am very, very upset with the engineering department in this city. Back 2.5 years ago, they replaced Bruce Road. That was supposed to be, in my understanding, the first road that was going to be 20 years. I've lived there 43 years, and we've had our road topped twice in that 43 years. So there's a 20-year road, I guess. But when they finished that road just past my house, the first 2 houses, I went to the superintendent and I asked him, I said, what about the berms of the road? That's up to the city. It's not part of our contract. Those berms had never been touched in 43 years until just a month ago. City council decided they're going to go into 20-year roads. We're going to cut core samples in the road to determine which are the best roads. What did they cut? A brand new road. What did they do? They put the plug back in the hole, didn't seal it up. That was a 2-inch hole and a 3-inch hole. I called, I'm getting excited, but I called the engineering department. I got excuses. I called the mayor. The mayor came out and said it'll be done by July 4th. To this day, that road is over 2 years old and it's still not complete. But the mayor had the guts to pat everybody on the back. What a great job they did. It was under budget and they had a schedule, but here it is, 2.5 years later. That road is still not done. There is a crack that is 200 feet long across the house in front of me, across my house. And my call started within that first 2 houses done. I didn't see any action until this year, and then it was delay after delay. The mayor said it would be done July 4th. That was long past for the gut, and it still isn't done. What I don't understand is all these roads that they re-topped, they put the new berms in. They never touched Bruce Road, which was a brand new road. You'd think they would have tried to save something they spent a whole lot more money for. But that road, and when the mayor came out, he said they would be sealed. I said, Mayor, that's fine, but that isn't resolving the problem. The problem is somebody wasn't doing their job. Somebody needs to follow through on this work. When they did paint the roads that are there, and by the way, the gentleman here on Bruce, and his side of the road, got the white stripes painted on it. My side of the road, and I've been complaining from day one, still does not have them paint stripes on it. Cars are going off. There was a mailbox knocked over on my side of the road here just the other day. Yeah, I can keep on going and on and on. I hope you got the gist of what I'm saying. We need someone to follow through on these jobs. When they did the paint stripes, the crossroads there, they didn't even swept the roads. They swept Bruce Road 4 times one day and never put the paint down. And they did finally go ahead and put the sealer on it, but that's only a stopgap measure. The fact is there's a 200-foot long crack in there and they're just going to open right back up on 8 or 10 inches of asphalt that they put in. When I called Jim, the service director prior to this one here, I called him 3 times before I got an answer, but I know why. The man was very busy. He had a lot of work going on. But he told me that he talked to the engineering department. There was no specs on it. And that's the problem. It goes right back to engineering, this whole road on Bruce Road. The mayor, when he finally came out and looked at it, was surprised as hell. He said, I seen this road dug out. I said, no, I know, but you ain't been back here since, and I doubt if anybody in council was back to look at that road. I know those 2 down there in the end were because they came out when I called them. Okay, thank you.
So is the edge line,
No.
the edge lines are completed? I thought that they were.
Half of Bruce Road, did you tell me they ain't messing around with me?
Yeah.
The first half of Bruce Road's done, the second half is not. Every road in that B area, the berms were done. Mine was the last one done, and it wasn't done until 3 weeks after the last one of the toppings were done. And I got nothing but excuses from the
There's also,
engineering director.
Bonnie doesn't have, because I ran down there the other day, doesn't have the stripe on both sides. So I think the issue is, which we had talked to Mr. McLaughlin, I talked to John about it, is they didn't finish what they said they were going to finish. They had made promises, and they didn't come back and finish.
When did we know that? Because we had asked that question several times this year about finishing it.
The gentleman did talk to you 3 or 4 council meetings ago and told you the strike wasn't paid, and you said
Yes.
it would get done. It didn't get done till 3 weeks ago. And that's only half of it.
So outside of the crack in the center,
Now, this is in the center, this is off the edge of the road.
off the edge of the road?
Yep,
So that obviously needs to be sealed and fixed.
they did
Right,
seal
crack
it.
seal it.
Oh, they did seal
They
it?
did seal it, they just did that about a month and a half ago.
Okay.
But they haven't painted the line to keep people off the edge of the road, because the road's gonna keep breaking down if you don't keep them off the edge. When I-
You know, that's an ongoing problem. I see what the problem is in most of those streets up there in Highland Homes, is that we need to move the ditch lines away from the streets, rebuild the berms, and until we do that, I'm not gonna suggest that we repave another road there without us doing that. And moving
has
those
to be
ditch lines
done.
over.
You're
I know what the
absolutely right.
problems are, they're just such narrow streets. The snow trucks, the post office, the garbage trucks, they eat up the berms and they knock off the
police
edges.
department, service department are continually telling the residents, don't put your leaves on the road. Where are they gonna put them? There is no road. The neighbor was directly across the street from me. The top of that road was 8 inches above the berm. I called Jim about it, he never returned my call. They had their lawn guy put dirt in that in.
Thank you so much for letting us know. We'll certainly follow up with that.
Okay, thank you, Jim.
Okay.
May I ask a question? John, do we cut berms?
Excuse me?
Do we cut berms in-house?
We have not been out berming in 4 or 5 years. Last time we were out berming was on Shepherd Road, North Shepherd.
Was the berm in this scenario part of the contract?
Yes, that was part of the road project.
Okay, thank you.
Mike, can you shed any light on it?
Last I knew is the striping didn't get done on some of the streets because of the weather. That was the last I heard. I think John has.
Has it been
Yeah.
completed, Mike?
No, there's still striping needs to be completed.
Because I saw some of them that had been updated, but not some of the others didn't. Can I ask you a question? The berming problem throughout the city is pretty severe, where basically we don't have storm sewers, so we have ditches, and I see many places where these berms just continue to collapse even after we fix them.
Yeah.
What is that issue? Why are
I mean,
they-
that whole area, there's poor drainage. As the mayor said, he'd like to move the ditch lines back. I mean, with poor drainage, your berms are gonna fail.
Well, you would think that, I think it wasn't it, I don't know who did it before, but last year was Specialized Construction, wasn't it? that was
Yes.
doing that? So, I think we need to be clear on how it is that these roads continue to have issues after we fix them, because it's costing a lot of money.
I agree. And I'm certain we're gonna look at that and make sure that they follow some sort of program. Okay, next is Kathy Loya. Kathy?
Good evening. Thank you very much. My name is Kathy Loya, 9186 North Bedford Road. Just very quickly, I just wanted to speak and urge council to act tonight and approve the ordinance coming up on the agenda for the appointment of Chagrin Valley Engineering. At the work session, there was some discussion of holding this appointment at a first reading so that other firms could be looked at. My specific concern is that GPD has completed their North Bedford and ledge drainage study. The study is done. It's complete. The area of North Bedford and ledge has been plagued with water problems for decades. Do not hold this appointment up of Chagrin Valley Engineering the way that council held up the study way back last summer when it was held at a first reading, because it had to be studied to see if it needed to be studied. The problem's there, whether some people want to believe it or not. It's been there, it's going to be there. You owe it to the residents, to your constituents, to move forward with coming up with some sort of resolution for the people in this area who have been plagued with stormwater problems. So again, I just would like to urge council to go ahead and approve and appoint Chagrin Valley so that things can move forward for not only the North Bedford and Ledge area, but for all of the city of Macedonia. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Okay, next is Shirley Koth. Shirley?
Shirley Koth, 902 Eileen Drive. I have a couple questions. First of all, on the budget, and I know it's not going to stay a line item budget, but I have some concerns over what happened that made it become a line item budget to begin with. So I'd be interested, as the finance meetings come up and as this develops, how you're going to be sure that if you're going to be moving things within your department from one line item to another, how you're going to make sure you really don't need anything from that line item you moved from, and that later on in the year, you're going to end up with maybe 2 line items within your budget that are both 0 with work yet to be done. So I believe that was part of the problem originally that kind of caused the line item to be instituted. But anyway, so just bringing it up, just want to make sure we're not going to run into that anymore. Also, I've been wondering if we could get more info earlier on the city website. Things such as agendas for all meetings. I know there's for the council meetings. I know there's for the planning commission meeting, but I don't think BZA ever puts on an agenda. And there may be others. I haven't really looked at all of them, but I'm wondering if there can't be an agenda provided for all of the meetings as soon as that information is available, so that people can take a look at what's coming up. And also legal notices that go into the paper. Well, they go into the news leader. The news leader has a habit of not delivering the papers from time to time, and in fact, lots of times. And so it's very inconsistent that it gets out to the public. So I'm wondering if those notices can also be put on the website so that those can be seen by anybody. I think the more we can get onto the website about the city and about the things that are available anyway, I think that'll be a real help. On the berms, I just have a question on that too. When Eileen Drive, the section that was done with the storm water project this year, I mean now, and I've noticed this other places too, there's no such thing as a berm anymore. You know, the grass goes right up to the street and there's the street. I know when we first moved out there in 1963, we had wide berms, and you know, the berms have just disappeared. And so I'm just saying that that's something that I've seen elsewhere too, so just bringing it up. Then I have a question about Hudson school buses. Being on Eileen, which is very close to the Hudson line, I had noticed for a long time, several years now actually, Hudson school buses coming down Eileen, at least 2 buses a day, twice a day because of the before and after school. And I wondered about that, but I thought, well, maybe there's somebody on the street or in the area that goes to Seton Catholic or one of the other ones over there, and you know, the bus is coming down for those kids. But recently, we happened to be behind a Hudson school bus coming north on Valley View, coming toward Macedonia. And they went right past the Macedonia line, came down to Eileen, so we decided to follow them. Went down Eileen, went up Gloria, and turned back down Valley View. So I guess we're a turnaround for 2 Hudson buses. So I don't know whether that's an issue or whether that's something they ask permission to do, to use our streets like that, or I don't know, but I just, you know, it just seemed kind of odd. So at least we had an opportunity to observe it.
Sure. I can't speak for why they do what they do, but it is a public street. It's kind of hard or difficult. I mean, I guess we could post signs that say no unwanted school buses. But I don't know.
Well, I didn't know it's the same with the, you know. So I didn't know whether that was something that, because they used to have a turnaround just right at the city line. And the buses would come to that, they'd back into it, and they'd turn around and go back.
Sure, that was right at the corporate line. I remember that was just on the right-hand side.
So I didn't know whether neighboring school buses had to ask permission or not, so I just thought I'd ask.
You know, I never had that question ever propounded before, so you know, it's an interesting one, and I don't know how it would be handled other than to call Hudson and say, hey, look, please turn around, and it's probably an unsafe condition by turning around where they want to turn around over there.
Yeah.
So it's very unsafe.
So anyway, I just didn't know whether there was some sort of an agreement cities had with each other and stuff like that, or whether they just do it.
Our Nordonia school buses, when they get down to North Bedford, they turnaround at the very end, right under the 480
Right.
bridge
Yes.
there.
Yeah, and there is a place for them
Yeah.
to back up, and so.
So that's only
Well,
probably.
has that
That's
turnaround
been there
place
for
disappeared
how far?
from the,
Chief
You know,
was
I
gonna
haven't
say
even,
something.
is it still there?
It's still there, but it's in disarray. A lot of drop-offs. When we plow, we can't even use it anymore. We actually go to one of the sites, I don't know the name of it, it's before
Sure.
Middleton, to actually nose our trucks in to back out on
Right.
Bellevue and turn around that way.
mm-hmm.
So maybe we're sharing.
Okay. Thank you, Shirley.
Okay, fine.
Chief, did you have something you wanted to add?
Yeah, in dealing with the schools as I do, there are restrictions. I don't know if they're new restrictions for school buses backing and turning, so that may be a case. I think there was an issue where they used to go down Thistle Ridge. I think I got a complaint from somebody that a Hudson school bus went down Thistle Ridge and turned around or something like that. But there are a lot of restrictions, as everybody saw on the news. I think it was yesterday or the day before, Streetsboro had a 3-bus accident. So it may be, if you can do something other than back up a school bus, if you can go take a loop around those streets, that's the preferred method. Obviously, we have children, probably a lot of children on that bus, and I would much rather see them go around the loop there than back up and get in a crash, because anybody familiar with the Southern Line, there's a little dip in the road as you leave Macedonia, and enter into Hudson where that turnaround was, and that obviously could cause a problem. So, you know, I don't know that it's I don't know that it's a huge issue.
It's a great turnaround.
It's just probably easier and safer for them to do that, and that's probably why you see it.
Okay.
That would be my guess.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next is Roy Metzel.
Hi, I'm Roy Metzel. I live on Smoke Rise Drive. I don't have a whole lot to talk about, but I usually talk at most of the meetings, so I figure what the heck, you know.
Okay, right.
I want to congratulate Kevin and all the new officers and, you know, all those positions. That's great. The city's moving around. You know, everything seems to be going good. It was great leaf collection this year.
Thank you.
I mean, we do have some people that, I don't know what their problem is, but they're just putting out leaves, you know? It's like, wait a minute, it's snowing, why are you putting leaves out? And I've seen people throw them in the street. You know, it's really bad, but, no, I just like to say, I went to the last meeting in January and this meeting, and things seem to be moving along. The city's, you know, everybody mostly is getting along, and, you know, that's the way I wanted to see it for the last couple of years, but, you know, there's too much conflict going on and everything. And I know in the back we talked, now it'll come up later about this checkbook thing. And, you know, so the residents can look at checks. You know, I'm on a computer all the time. I worked in IT for almost 50 years. And, you know, I get on there and I go all over the place. But what do I care about checks being written by somebody in the city when, you know, first of all, I would not understand what they're doing anyway. And they do have supervisors and they do have a budget and they have to go by these things. So I'm assuming that everything's fine unless something comes up and all of a sudden they have to move a bunch of money into some other line item because, all the money's gone from there, you know. There must be a reason. So I think, you know, everything's good. You know, the police department and everybody is just doing a wonderful job. And I see him in the fire department, my buddy there, you know, gave me a ride one time up to the ambulatory center. Well, he even came on to the EMS truck, you know. I turned around, what? You know, I was like, wow. So I think we have really good services. Now, I know there's problems with a lot of the streets, and that's like one of the biggest problems we have, all these things going on in the streets. I know they did that stuff to the streets and covered up all the cracks and everything like that, but there's still a lot of streets that are really bumpy and bad, and, you know, I got a new car, but even then I still feel it. I thought it was my old car, but it's not, you know. There's some roads that still need, of course, it's winter time, and I don't think we can do a whole lot, but I think by having a budget and putting that money in there for the roads, we can finally go out and, you know, fix a lot more roads and all that kind of stuff. So I just want to congratulate all the people, and you know, the council is doing a good job, and we got a new law person here, right? Like to welcome.
Been around a little bit.
I've seen you here before.
Say,
I was
he's not
talking
new.
to Joe all the time, so that's fine. So that's all. I'm gonna let you get to work because you know how to.
Well, Roy, he's a Macedonia-born citizen, Mark Diddy here.
Nardonia Group.
And a Nordonia grad.
And
South Melody, yeah.
Thank you, Roy. Okay, that ends the comments, and we're going to move on to our agenda right here. And the first item is resolution number 164, 2015.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to offer resolution number 164, 2015, for its second reading by title only.
A resolution requesting an independent audit of the City of Macedonia conformance with established purchasing controls and proper public purpose expenditure requirements.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is resolution number 3.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to offer resolution number 3, 2016, for its first reading by title only, please.
A resolution confirming the appointment of Mark Guedetti as the Director of Law and Thomas Hanslick as the Assistant Director of Law and providing for compensation and support services.
Next item on the agenda is ordinance number 4.
I offer ordinance number 4, 2016 for its first, second, and third reading by title only.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Are there any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, the motion's carried. And sitting here in the front, I might as well introduce Don Sheehy, who is the principal at Chagrin Valley Engineering, who's going to be our new city engineer. Don, would you like to give a long speech? No, just a very short one. I think you already know some of the issues that we're going to be dealing with some of the roads and some of the concerns. And sitting next to Joe is Joe Gelati, and actually Joe's father was once our service department foreman for many years. So, welcome. Thank you. Okay, next item on the agenda would then be.
Oh, Mayor, move to adopt, please.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We have to adopt it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm getting carried away. Okay, we have a motion and a second then.
That was just to read it.
That was just to read it, okay.
We're past that now. The motion to adopt, please.
I'm sorry.
Is it my turn now?
Yeah.
I move that we pass and post according to law ordinance 4, 2016.
Second.
I was so excited, I can't believe it, that we have a motion and a second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, the motion's carried. Thank you. Okay, next item is ordinance number, that would be 5?
Yes. I offer ordinance number 5, 2016 for its first, second, and third reading by title only.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion's carried.
An ordinance confirming the appointment by the mayor of John Nanavanje as Director of Public Service for the City of Macedonia.
Okay, you've heard the reading. What is your pleasure?
I move that we pass and post according to law ordinance number 5, 2016.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, and before I call for a vote on that, I just want to introduce John over here, Nanavanje. He's been, actually, I appointed John as a worker in the service department. How many years ago was that, John?
23 years. 23 years.
23 years ago, wow. But he had left, he came back, and he's been here now for 10 years?
Be 10 years this spring.
Yeah. It's like, it's like the good
It's come full
story
circle.
of Tim Black, who was in the service department and then became our fire chief. So you kind of went through the rank and file, and now you're stepping into this position.
Yes.
And I think that John's going to do a very good job. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried, and thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Good luck to you. Would you like to introduce anyone in the audience? Your mother, your wife,
Put them on.
your children?
Are they going to stand up?
They're gonna give a speech.
Bill, thanks.
My darling mother is here tonight to witness this event. She is a Macedonia resident. My youngest daughter, Peyton, who's 7 years old, came to join us tonight, and my beautiful wife, Heather. Our oldest could not be here tonight because she has dance lessons, and they are not allowed to miss a class. I'll have to give her the details when I get home tonight.
And we might add too, John, were you actually born in Macedonia as well?
I was born in Northfield Village.
Okay.
Moved here to Macedonia in 5th grade to attend Ledgeview.
Okay.
And just did not attend Nordonia High School, attended St. Peter Chanel in Bedford.
Okay. Great. Okay, next item is ordinance number 6.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to offer ordinance number 6 for its first reading by title only.
An ordinance appropriating a fund transfer from the general funds to new line item 101, 150, 5346 to meet unpaid obligations from 2015.
Okay. All right, the next item on the agenda would then be ordinance number 7.
Ordinance number 7, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to offer ordinance number 7 for its first reading by title only.
1 second, please. An emergency ordinance establishing compensation schedule for the non-union city employees of Macedonia effective January 1, 2016.
Okay. Next item on the agenda would be ordinance number 8.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to offer ordinance number 8, 2016, for its first reading by title only, please.
An ordinance repealing ordinance number 3, 2012, making members elected to council eligible to participate in the city's health care plan.
Okay. Next item is ordinance number 9.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to offer ordinance number 9, 2016, for its first reading by title only, please.
An ordinance repealing city elected officials' eligibility to receive recreation fee discounts to Macedonia Family Recreation Center.
Mr. Mayor, if I could just interject, the only reason I'm doing first reading is to look for residents' input. I feel very strongly that health benefits for council just kind of is a dichotomy because we only offer health benefits to full-time employees. City council is part-time, and we're not employees. I've only heard one comment of why it should be kept, and that is it would encourage more people to run for city council. I haven't met anyone in the past 3 elections or 4 elections that said that was a driving force. But I'd really like to hear from the residents of their thoughts before we put it to a vote. Thank you.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is resolution number 10.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to offer resolution number 10 for its first reading by title only.
A resolution requiring the city of Macedonia to participate in ohiocheckbook.com.
Okay, next item on the agenda is resolution number 11.
Mr. Mayor, I move to offer resolution number 11, 2016, for first, second, and third readings by title only.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, the motion's carried.
I move to
A re-
adopt. Oh, sorry.
I need to read it.
Waiting on
A
you.
resolution confirming the reappointment of Kenneth Greer to the Macedonia Parks and Recreation Commission effective immediately.
Okay, you've heard the reading.
Mr. Mayor, I move to adopt resolution number 11, 2016, and post same according to law.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Are there any questions? Is Kenneth here by chance? No. Okay. Hearing no questions, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing none, the motion's carried. Next item on the agenda is resolution number 12.
Mr. Mayor, I offer resolution number 12, 2016, for first, second, and third readings by title only.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none.
A resolution confirming the appointment of Karen Bartolozzi to the Macedonia Parks and Recreation Commission.
Okay, you've heard the reading.
Mr. Mayor, I move to adopt resolution number 12, 2016, and post same according to law.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. I know that Karen is here. Hi, Karen.
Hi.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Hopefully, we're gonna get you voted in right here, and then you can get to work.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, the motion's carried. And by the way, Karen, did they ever get that wire moved off the pole yet?
Yesterday,
Oh, thank God.
from May 2014 till yesterday.
Okay, great.
Not
Done
just,
now. Appreciate
wait,
it.
not just the wires.
The pole, the old
All the
taken.
poles are gone.
Right.
John and Mark, I can't say enough thanks. Got them all.
Thank you.
Great, great. It's good news. Okay, is there any correspondence, Justine?
Yes, Your Honor, I have one. Dear Chief Golden, I would like to commend your entire department, especially Officer Nick Zabel, for quickly responding to a multiple car accident in which I was involved in I-271, a mile south of Forbes, northbound this morning. Your officers are extremely professional, and so are your EMS personnel. I was very fortunate to be able to walk away with nothing more than the record blood pressure, and since he states it under HIPAA, I will not. With you have a bunch of, you have a bunch of great professionals. Thanks again, Larry Kerr.
Thank
That's
you.
it, sir.
That's it? Okay, mayor's reports. I just wanted to indicate that on Route 82, we've been working with ODOT. I wanted to reduce the speed from, because of the construction zone there, it's 35 miles an hour that is from Shepherd to through this construction zone. So the state has agreed that they'll put up a recommended posted speed limit of 25. So we're going to reduce that through there. The pavement's so uneven, and it's, if you drive up and down that road, you'll find that the trucks are kind of thrown to the left. So it's kind of dangerous, if you will, because they do it at 35 miles an hour. It seems to be pretty fast and pretty dangerous for people traveling through there. So hopefully that will occur. I know that there's been some calls to the city about Shepherd Road and the trip at that intersection. They apparently broke it, and it's now since been repaired, so it's back actively working, and it's working through the cycle. And we had a number of residents that called about that. Mayor's Court receipts for the month of December, as we're required to announce each and every month, were $29,345.32. I wanted to report that the study of the Ledge Road North Bedford area is completed, and there will be a meeting with the Chagrin Valley Engineer and GPD this coming week so that they can exchange information and receive what that study shows so that we can move forward on how to remedy that area there. I also had a meeting with NEORSD, that's the Northeast Ohio Regional Sewer District, as it relates to the stormwater fees that are going to be put upon us. We lost, obviously, the last leg of the appeal, so we are now a part of the Northeastern Ohio Sewer Water District, stormwater area rather. We're included in that. But there are some good things that will come out of that, and hopefully we'll be able to get projects such as this Ledge, North Bedford area, and other problemed areas through Indian Creek resolved by getting funds from Northeast Ohio Sewer District. So that is something that I'm looking forward to working with them, and I'm sure that our new city engineer will certainly help us follow along with that to make sure we're getting those types of projects done. The Ambassador project, that is the soccer project, that is going to come before Planning Commission. We're probably going to have a special meeting of the Planning Commission sometime in the next week or two.
February 1st.
What's the date?
February
1st. I have been meeting, by the way, with the residents in South Bedford. I've had a meeting with them just last week. We sat down, we got all of their concerns in order. Have met with Ambassador twice, and we think that they're going to meet and exceed the expectations of those residents in complying with various fencing, mounding, aesthetic values, sound controls, all sorts of things that we feel will satisfy those residents that live back there. So I'm excited to try to get that out of the way and get that project off the table and get it moving.
I have a question about that. I think one of the biggest objections, it sounds like a number of those issues were resolved with the fencing and the mounding. The height of the building was the big issue. What has the ambassador said about that?
I'll indicate that there will be no variances requested and none given, and therefore they will comply with a light industrial zoning that exists there.
Okay.
And so therefore, my opinion has been, and I have given this opinion to those residents that live there, that if I put my real estate hat on, that it would be far better to have a soccer facility behind their property than any other type of light industrial property. And I think that they should be really happy with the aesthetic values that they're going to get. They're going to get positive drainage back in through there. There's going to be a large retention put back in through there. And I think it's going to be a much, much better situation. And as well, too, when they do go to their second phase, I might mention, is that they are committed to putting in a turning lane onto South Bedford Road that will then be by the school, that'll lead from the school driveway and out. Additionally, I've got them to commit to allowing the Nordonia football team to have use of the indoor facility for their practices. So that's another big plus for the city and for the schools.
How about the soccer team?
The soccer team, well, you know.
Yes, that's a little more.
It's more
The football
consistent.
team has a lot of facilities. I
Well,
don't mean to
you
be
know,
cold-hearted, but it's a soccer
I'm sure
facility.
that we could probably
Work
negotiate.
out that the girls and boys
we
get
could
in.
probably negotiate something on that
Okay.
too, so.
Just to confirm that point, then phase 2 will also comply with the zoning.
Yes.
By building height. Okay.
Absolutely,
On the
yep.
record. Thank you.
Yeah, in fact, I went to deep length with them in creating a memorandum of understanding. So it's going to be committed to a contractual basis, if you will.
Yeah.
And that it is going to be for the first phase and the second phase, so that there's no question as to what they're obligated to do.
That I think we should thank you for that, because that has been a major problem over there. They attempted to sell that to Ambassador with them having a 75-foot stadium, which was just not going to work in that area.
Okay, and the last item I just want to talk about, and I know that last year, council was asked by the mayor at that time to consider a 0.25% to be put on the ballot for specifically just roads. And I think that the voters of this community need to have that opportunity. I have analyzed this, and I'm certainly going to be analyzing it in deeper detail with the new engineering department. But this city will never, ever catch up with its roads unless we earmark money, a specific flow of money that can take care of over $20 million of roads that we currently have. So, and I think that the voters, who should be concerned about how their condition of their roads look in their subdivisions, would have an opportunity to vote on this. I don't like to increase anybody's real estate taxes or anybody's taxes at all. And remember, the city has not had a real estate increase since '67, I believe. We operate, if you will, at about 8.5 to 9 cents on every dollar. And that 70 cents of just about every dollar goes to the schools, and the balance then goes to the county and to
we have a very small.
We have a very, very small amount of money that the city collects.
From the real estate tax.
So I would hope that residents would support that idea, once we have agreed here by council to put it on the ballot and let the residents make that decision. We need a flow of dollars to be able to handle this. And actually, I was at an AMATS meeting today, and they were talking about how the federal government is cutting down to the state level, and all the way down to the counties and cities and villages. And this has been going on for years. There's just not any dollars available to take care of our needs. I think we've done a fairly good job in the city. I think that obviously we've gone through some tough times in the city with our budget. I've been analyzing that. I've been figuring out ways of how to cut dollars in every aspect, in every department. Looking at the benefit I've had for the last 6 weeks as being mayor is that I've also been the finance director, so I have had that opportunity to see every single bill that comes into the city. I've had a lot of questions and a lot of things that I feel that we need to really take a look at and try to find different ways to save money for the city. That's the bottom line. Unfortunately, our carryover this year is probably going to only be around $1.2 million, where it was about $3.2 million last year, or a little bit more. But because of all the road projects that were done, we depleted, if you will, the general fund. And I wish that wouldn't have happened, and I wish we would have done road notes as opposed to taking it from our general fund. But that's what occurred. So we'll have to live with that. So anyhow, we'll be keeping you informed as to how we proceed, and once we have a better detail on our good, bad, and what we call good, fair, and bad streets in our city, we'll be able to tell you when the fairs are going to be bad and when the goods are going to be fair, and that way we can stay on top of it. I think overall, though, we probably, by the time you get all of the bad ones out of the way, the fair ones are going to be bad, so you probably have really about $30 million in roads to repair. But the biggest issue I think that we have in our city is to get out there and have a great maintenance program of being able to crack seal all of our streets. As Mr. McLaughlin said, is that, you know, he had a crack already. Well, that crack, once it opens up and water starts to get into that crack, over a winter, it's going to get down, it's going to permeate down lower, it's going to get underneath the pavement, it's going to heave it. And so all of that good work that was done will be bad. So, you know, those are the kinds of things that we need to stay on top of. We need to get our streets sealed. So, and that's a costly proposition. I'm told today, actually, it's about $300,000 a mile of road. So that's what it costs for a city to go out and pave a road. And when we were talking about berms earlier, I just want you to know that these berms over the years in all of these subdivisions, especially those that don't have curbs and just have open ditches, have eroded. And they continue to erode, and they continue to erode towards the street. What needs to happen is that those ditch lines need to be moved back where they were and rebuilt. And that takes time and that takes money, and that's something, though, that we should start to do on every repaving job that we do, but we need to get a source of revenue to be able to do those types of jobs. So with that, I will end my mayor's report. Committee reports. Okay. Hearing none there, we'll go to department reports. John, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Yes, a few things. First of all, we have down streetlight poles in the areas. Please call the service department to report them. They are a hazard. They are still hooked up to wires. They are hot. We don't want kids playing around them. We do disconnect them, put a safe box on them, and contact Ohio Edison because they are the ones to make the repairs. Like the mayor was saying, with cracks in the road, we have freezing and thawing going on. We have warm up coming tomorrow. Potholes, they're here. We know that. Please call the service department for that all as well. 90% of the things that we get are call generated. You tell us something's out there, we go out there and make the repairs necessary. And with the winter season coming up, we have 4 to 5 inches of snow so far. So I'll take that any day. I'm happy about that. But now's the time to secure your mailboxes. Remember, the city's not responsible if we're not hitting them. The snow coming off our plows can knock them over. Make sure they're secure. Our trucks are outfitted with GPS. We've had calls before. The truck was doing 50 miles an hour down the road. We look at the GPS, you know, to tell what the speed of travel was for that truck. Also, along the edges of the road, we don't have enough on there now, but last year we had how many inches of snow on the ground? Watch your kids and your pets from playing on the edge of the roads. Okay, we see them happening a lot out there. The kids are playing in snow, they want to have fun, but not on the edge of the road when we're actually out there plowing. And also, I'll tell older residents, not huge, but Please don't stand at the end of the apron and stare down the road and watch us come down the street to you. It happens, and it's what are we supposed to do? And then they're giving you gestures when they're getting hit with snow. So please back away. If you want to watch, it's fine. Please just back away from a distance and allow us to continue on.
Really smart.
And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Mike?
Thanks, Mayor. I want to say congratulations to John. I look forward to working with him. Worked with him many years, and definitely the right choice. Congratulations. Also, congratulations to Chagrin Valley, Don Sheehy. I've known Don since 1989 when I started working out of high school. Worked with him, and we've stayed friends all along, and Joe Gelati the same. Worked with him on many projects here in Macedonia, so looking forward to working with them. With the projects, Avenue of Macedonia across the street, we are doing footers as weather permits. We're getting the footer checks and getting the inspections done, but it's been a rough start for them. Also, Kayla has put in her 2 weeks notice, so we're going to be taking applications, and I'm working with the mayor and HR on getting somebody new. That concludes my report.
Angela?
Thank you. Congratulations to Karen and Ken, who is not present tonight, and to Kevin for being appointed the representative for the Parks and Recreation Commission. It's going to be a busy year for us and an exciting time working together on that committee, so I look forward to that. I also want to congratulate John Notavange on his appointment as service director. We have to work together quite often, whether it has to do with field maintenance, festival preparation, now snow removal. So we work hand in hand in a lot of those areas, and he has been nothing but a pleasure to work with. He's been very attentive to the Recreation Department's needs, and I really, truly appreciate that. So congratulations. And just one big announcement, really. I've talked numerous times about the upcoming community survey for the future of Parks and Recreation within the city of Macedonia. And I'm happy to report it is now available. So I invite everybody to please go to the city's website, go to the Recreation Department's website, which is macrec.com. And it's also available on the Recreation Department's Facebook page. So we are trying to hear everybody's voice. We'd like to get everybody's opinion on where they'd like to see the future of Parks and Recreation within the city. If there are items that people would really like to see come to this city, whether it be an outdoor pool, whether it be a gymnasium, whether it be an arts and cultural center. Those are just some examples. Those are all on the survey, and we would like to get your feedback. So please, please, please take the time to take that survey, and we will truly, truly appreciate your opinions. And that's all I have tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Angela. And by the way, the survey, I think it was really thoroughly looked at by many and put together, and I think it really illustrates clearly what, and the residents, their response is going to be clear by what they respond to the question. So it's not tricky, it's really to the point, and it really boils down to what do you want to see up at the in the recreation department and in that facility. So thank you, Angela.
Thank you.
John?
Thank you, Mayor. Congratulations, John, Mark, and Chagrin Valley. Be working with you shortly, I guess. I want to remind everybody, I put on Facebook, 271 southbound ramp will be closing. It will be Monday, January 18th through Thursday, January 21st. That's the 82 ramp southbound from 7 p.m. until 6 a.m. starting Monday. This is in order to mobilize a crane to set the noise barrier panels along there. So a few more closures here. It shouldn't be that big of a deal. It's shortly after rush hour. We're going to try to send a Nixle alert out and let everybody know. I have it on Facebook, as I said. And that gets into, I still run into people who do not have Nixle. I know Jan always mentions it. That's one of the things I brought about, a year now, Jan, or something like that. Nixle, you can go to the 2 years now, I think. Go to the website, nixle.com, Nixle.com, You can sign up that way. You can do it right on your phone. You'll get text messages, or for some folks who don't have a smartphone, you get email messages. So there are various things you can do. If you have any questions, please call me over at the police department. That's all I have right now.
Yeah, I just want to add to that is when we had the blackout or the power outage a few weeks ago, everybody immediately starts to call dispatch. And unfortunately, dispatch gets overwhelmed with calls. Unfortunately, that evening, we couldn't nixle out, even Facebook out, because when that hit, it blew the transformer. It also sent a jolt through the system and burned out our Windstream cable box in the building here. So it knocked out our communications just from that standpoint. So they couldn't communicate out through Nixle, but we've come up with a remedy to never allow that to ever happen again, and we're working towards fixing that right now. But again, I just want to let residents know that when we have those types of situations, it's probably better if you can go get on the website, check Facebook. I did a Facebook right away on it. And if everybody starts putting Nixle in, they'll start to see these types of messages coming up. And don't call dispatch at that moment in time because they're just overwhelmed in calls. In fact, I called and they hung up on me. No.
Yeah.
No, they were so busy though that I felt really bad that I was bothering them, but I was trying to figure out what the situation
Right,
was.
and folks have to remember, when something transpires in dispatch, police are involved, fire department's involved, we dispatch for 2 other entities, and we have to deal with the emergency first. Then the dispatchers can get to the Nixle. So it's not instantaneous. It's when we have a chance, we get to the Nixle. So there are other avenues that folks can look. It seems like everything is on Facebook or Twitter or something like that. So, please don't rely on it, but it's a wonderful tool. If you folks have people who work in Macedonia, don't necessarily live here, it will help them to go home on their commute. They can see a road's closed or whatever. So it's just another tool for the folks out there to utilize. Thank you.
Chief, I think you missed the most important thing. 888-777 and then the message 44056.
Right. That's
how
to
you
do it right on your
register
phone.
From a text message.
Exactly. You can text within 15 seconds, you can have it. So, yes, thank you, Nick.
Maybe Brianna, you can put that out on that would be really great if you could do that.
Let me just make one other observation. I went to the Ohio Edison website, and it was clear it was out there immediately. So if you have a cell phone, you're still in business as long as you've got battery power. But we don't seem to have a very good backup process. We have a blowout like that in our communications.
Actually, our system worked just as we thought it would, and our redundant generators worked, and our tower stayed up, and
But
so
the communications blew up.
well, the only internet connection was the only thing that went down. Our dispatch didn't go down. I mean, our system stayed up, and it worked very, very well. So we have a cure for that problem into the future. We only had 1 line in there, unfortunately. We have 2 lines into this building. One is a Windstream line, and we also have a Time Warner line. And now we're going to get a Verizon line, so that will never happen again. Tim, do you have anything?
Yes, Mayor, I do. As you know, we had a record year last year with 1,653 calls compared to 1,366. So we had 287 call increase from 2014 to 2015, with 1,250 of those being EMS calls that we responded on. Just to give you an idea of where we transported to, Cleveland Clinic Twinsburg 202 times, Cleveland Clinic Sagamore Hills, which is now closed, 131 times, Ahuja Medical Center 114, Cleveland Clinic Hillcrest 110, UH Twinsburg, University Twinsburg 60, and then Akron City 27, and everything there is below 2%. But those are the hospitals that we transported to. So an extremely busy year, and we've started off for an extremely busy year this year also. So that's all I have.
Do you want to mention about the folks that you're having in from different fire departments on the situation that occurred?
Yeah, we're doing a debriefing at the Akron Chaplaincy Center tomorrow with all of the firefighters and police officers that were involved in the house explosion. that happened over there. So it's a debriefing for all of our personnel tomorrow here.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Mark, do you have anything?
No report, Mayor.
Okay. Any unfinished business of council?
Yes, Mayor, two quick things. I don't think I caught who was gonna catch up with Mr. McLaughlin's issue. I'm sure you will, but I wanna make sure that I heard someone say.
Yeah,
that.
we'll have certainly between John and Mike there, and we'll find out what the situation is and get on to that.
And secondly, I want to thank the service department. Obviously, people need to remember that these guys are out in plow trucks for sometimes 12 to 16 hours, and it's exhausting. And I can tell you from experience that that's something it's a difficult job, and give those guys a little bit of respect for what they do, and they're working hard to keep our streets clear. What am I missing?
That's them.
Oh,
right there.
We have a couple here.
Guys, right
Thank you,
there.
guys. You are appreciated. I mean, I know we don't say it enough, but you know, for me, it means a lot because clear roads are important and people want to travel and have the ability to get around. Also, thank you, John, or congratulations, John, to your appointment. I think you have omnipotent abilities, and we're proud of you. And I can tell you from experience working with John, he's a great guy, and I think he's going to be a great fit. So, good luck to you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Okay. Any other unfinished business? Any new business?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion to adjourn, seconded. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the motion's carried, and I want to thank everyone for being here. Drive safely this evening. No.
We'll set out, our first meeting, especially because it'll be our first meeting of the year, and it'll be our first meeting with a new rep. So we'll sit down and we'll kind of